So you're out in the field, or maybe you're going shopping and suddenly you see something and you're like, oh, I want to paint that. And you whip out your camera, you take a photo reference, and then that's it, right? You go about your business. That is often how we are taking our photo references, and you just see something and you are inspired by it and you take a picture of it and you're like, oh, that's nice. I want to, want to paint that. Then you come home and you're looking through your photo references and you're thinking about doing a painting. And you find the one that got you all excited and you're looking at the photo reference and you're like, do I just copy what I've got going on here in this photo reference, or do I need to do anything else? My name is Vita Evenson and I paint grease. Here's the thing. Photo references are not to be copied. Usually, almost always, you're going to have to switch things around, move something, alter a color, kick something out. Something is going to have to change. It's a very rare occasion when you have a photo reference that needs no changing at all, no altering, no tweaking. Here's how I want you to go about photo references. First of all, let's look at what doesn't work in a photo reference. And the number one thing is that the darks are way too dark. They come out looking bland and black in the shadows as if nothing is going on there. And if you look outside or at any shadow, you can see that there's plenty going on in that shadow space. So that is the number one thing. And oftentimes the lights are a lot lighter than what they should be. So you're going to have to work with the contrast. That's the number one thing that you most certainly will come across in your photo reference. The other thing is that when you're taking a photo reference, you're going to have details everywhere and lose much of the whole feel of when you looked at this subject with your own eyes and how the whole thing felt. Because you have to remember, a photo reference is just an image. But when you go to your painting, you need to carry everything else with you. What the sun felt like, maybe some of the sounds that you remember, the feeling that you had when you saw this photo reference. So there's so many things going into your painting that are not to be found in the photo reference. Number 3 is to know that usually, for me, it's about 90% of the time, what is in the photo reference doesn't translate well into a painting. There are 3 things that I want you to think about. Number 1 is why. Why do you want to paint this painting? Why did you stop and go, oh, photo reference, click, and get all excited? Why do you want to paint this painting? That is the seed of your creation, and you need to hold on to it through the entire process of putting your painting together. You need to know your why. Number 2, you need to work with the composition and design of your photo reference to support your why. And number 3, you need to decide what is going to stay in your painting and what you're going to kick out. Those are the 3 basic places to get started. Okay, so with that, let's look at some photo references and the resulting paintings that I did. Here we have a nice photo reference. The why that I had for this painting was I wanted to enhance this beautiful yellow tree right here in the fall here in Greece. We don't get the same kind of colors in autumn time like we did back in Minnesota when I was growing up. When I saw this patch of trees with this yellow tree standing out, beautifully tucked between these darks all around here, right? Just standing out on stage and being beautiful. And I just wanted to paint that. So I wanted to paint something that was a little bit enthusiastic, something that was just really going to show off that yellow tree and make it shine and keep it in that this triangular design that was going on, right? And coming through with the painting in that way. There are a couple things that I had to look at. I know my why. What do I do with the composition and design? Do I leave it as is? Well, for me, it felt like there was the same distance from the sky level to this mid area here, and from the mid area to the foreground. You see what I mean? And going up to the sky. It's basically the same size, and I didn't want to do that. So I wanted to probably lower the crop the photo is what I mean, and come in and cut off the tops of these trees just to bring it in closer. The other thing is that because it's this triangular sort of shape, I wanted to keep the motion going in this circular way. I wanted everything to come to this tree. So in the foreground, I needed to figure something out because it's just a plain grass area. And yeah, it can be painted this way. But I like to play around and just add a little bit more. And I wanted to create a lead in coming in that will bring us up to the tree and hook us in this circular area. Also, there was just too much fuddle going on back in here, right? All this area is just unimportant, not really saying anything. So I wanted to do something with that, give it a little bit more depth. And this background hill just says nothing to me, played no essential role. And so let's see what I did with this painting. Okay, so my intention, my why, was to create a dynamic, enthusiastic yellow tree. And I did cut it off at the top here, but kept the colors more mellow and kept bringing the idea to come back down. But down in this area, if you remember, right, nothing is going on. This is bland, right? Nothing's happening. So I came in and put in these weeds that turn this beautiful color in the fall here in this part of Greece. And I opened up the background a little bit and, you know, just had it come together, okay? And this would be how we would normally look at it. I created this path coming in to hook up to this tree, and background hills are more slanted down. I didn't like that just lump that was back here. I wanted just slightly, a little bit more dynamic, but not playing any real role. I just want to get the movement of everything coming this way, you know, coming down. And if anything's coming around this side, to get swooped back up to this yellow tree. Okay, so the why is memories of my childhood in Minnesota in the autumn time, working with the design, the masses, doing a little bit of cropping to help support the why that I have going on, considering what needs to stay in the painting and what needs to go. Everything basically stayed, just got altered a little bit or pushed back, like these trees here. In this painting or photo reference, I saw this boat and it was evening. I loved the reflection on the water. And what immediately came to my mind was the idea, you know, that song, Just the Two of Us. And it's just the boat and the water, just the two of us. And the reflection that is coming in here is, you can see it just kind of melts from the material boat into the fluid water. And I just loved this area. And looking at the photo reference, it's like, okay, here's another boat with a strong reflection, and then all these birds here. I mean, do I put the seagulls in? What about this rope? Do I have that rope coming in? What about these boats back here? Would they work in this painting? And, the sky in the background and just the rest of the scene. My why is just the two of us. And because of that why, this is what I ended up painting. I got rid of everything except the boat and the water. And the design of the painting, the number 2, how am I going to support my why? By getting rid of all the birds, by getting rid of the extra lines coming in, just by getting rid of all the extras. I kept in the shadow here to connect to the boat and create a calmer feel about it, because you should be able to pick up the corner of the shadows and peel all of the shadows off your painting without it breaking up. I wanted to create that feel, that groundedness, that connectedness, and keep it darker on this side, more shadow, so that this area here just really stands out and connects. So, just the two of us. Tomorrow, the captain will come back, get in the boat, and go back out to fish with this long line here. Here we have a very dynamic photo reference. We've got the hill coming down. It's broken up. I like that quite a bit. And we have these rocks coming in here, the rocks coming up, these rocks coming up, this rock coming up, this coming up. Even these rocks are pointing upwards. I liked it very much. And it comes up to this place, a dark shadow. And, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I want to paint that, but I want to change a few things. So here was my thinking. Underneath here, we have somewhat of a roundish rock against all these sharp-edged, triangular shaped rocks. And, this rock here with this and this are all basically the same width, right? The width here, the width here, and the width here. And I don't like to do that kind of thing. I like to variegate the sizes and shapes. Whoops, that's a bit much. And here, right, and here, and here, also very similar in size. So I wanted to make it more dynamic. The sea is very interesting. It was so calm that it just looked like the sand. If it wasn't for that, slight greenish tone, you would never know that you weren't standing on the beach. But I like the direction going in, coming up to this area. We've got all of this coming up. We've got this tree. The backside's coming down to this area. We've got this bush here that can be enhanced to emphasize this area here. This little bush, yeah, I almost left the little bush in, but I decided that I would do something else. So we've got a lot of stuff in the background or in the midground that's not really doing anything for this area here, for my why. The why of this painting was just the starkness of these rocks coming to this point, and what would be at the point. That's why I decided to take this bush out, and I went with a seagull. And you can see it's, quite different than, I'm not quite finished with this one as well. I've got a couple in here that I'm not quite finished. But this is my thinking, right? Coming down towards a seagull. I've got this olive tree, which will be worked, and coming a branch leading down to this area where the seagull is. These orange flowers on these rocks, again coming towards the seagull. I've variegated these rock formations quite a bit, and I made this one a round boulder, which is kind of similar to this. I still have to work it out and square it out a little bit more. It's too round as it is right now. But it makes for a place to rest, for the eye to rest in in this painting. We've got this elongated rock, and then these rocks below. Everything is pointing up to the seagull, or coming down to the seagull, moving towards the seagull. Everything is, let's go to the seagull. So I'm working my why of something dynamic. And I, much prefer the seagull in this spot than that little round bush. I also added a little bit of those reddish weeds that come up as a way, first of all, because of the complementary colors, it works well. Got a little bit of a burnt sienna here in the sea that's wet from the water. And, I'm working with this as it is, but it is quite different from the actual reference photo. But my why helped me create that difference. And this makes the painting me, more my expression, my creativity, who I am. And hopefully when I finish with this one, it will be similar enough to this area, but I'm not interested in the way it is as it is right now. So you can see that when you have a photo reference, it is one of your tools that you use to create your painting. The first most important tool that I say again and again and again is simply to squint down. Just squint and take a look at your reference, the thing that you want to paint, that thing that excites you. And if you have time while you're there looking at it, squinting down at it, do a real quick no-tan sketch of what you're looking at. Where are the darks? Where are the lights? And just do that abstract sketch. Do a couple of these thumbnail sketches if you can. If you don't have the time, snap the photo, and when you get back to your tiny little studio, you can do your thumbnail sketches of the note tans and then begin to sketch out, maybe do a color sketch or two to see how you want to go about creating this feel. And you will choose your colors depending on your why, right? You will choose your colors and work with them all from that seed of the why. Why do I want to paint this? So remember, the trouble with reference photo, the darks are too darks and the lights are too lights. There's too much detail and information in a reference photo. And most reference photos, you can't just copy from the photo to create a painting. Hey guys, thanks so much for being here. Be sure and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, if there's something that you want to see, you want me to go over, please leave it in the comment section below and I will do a video for you if I'm able to, right? Because I'm just an artist. I don't know everything about art. I'm learning just like you. With that, be inspired, be creative, be you, and have a beautiful, beautiful day.